because everybody knows, okay, that's supernatural. Because they don't know what they're doing. They don't, nobody knows what's going on up there. That something just took over. Now, whether or not that was God, who knows? But something takes over when you get out of the black note, on the page, and start playing out of the white note that's inside of you. It really makes a big difference. I don't know if
You
that,
you think that was something that the prophets understood as well? Because like we see in the scriptures that there was a school of the prophets, and there's this awesome scripture that says that they come walking down the hill holding all their instruments, like they all have all
Mhm.
these instruments or whatever, and they you know what I'm saying, they were prophets. They understood that. Do you think that
Right.
that's key? They understood the power of music and the power of worship and vibration and energy and all that kind of stuff.
I think they did, but I think it was just by accident that they found that out. I mean, I like King David. He just decided. Uh, I'm going to build this tabernacle. I'm going to hire all these musicians. And I'm going to get the very best of the best, and I'm going to pay them. What they're due, and but But when that happened, all of a sudden the glory of the Lord came into the house, and the priest couldn't even stand to minister. Now, I don't think David knew or Solomon knew that was going to happen. I think they were just doing it because, but I'm just going to do this for the glory of God. But they didn't realize that God was actually touched by that music. And when he was touched, that's when the cloud came in. That's when the people couldn't stand to minister. When at the conference I was telling you
Mm-hmm.
about, at the last day of the conference, we did a song called "I Want to Hold Your Hand" by the Beatles, because this is a long time ago, and we had totally run out of Christian songs. We had nothing else. We knew nothing else. We were going to have to start repeating or something. So
Yeah.
I just took the Beatles song "I Want to Hold Your Hand," and man, the power of God came in the room. A cloud appeared on the stage, uh, which we didn't have smoke machines back then. I mean, this was a real glory
Yeah.
cloud.
Yeah.
Showed up on the stage, stayed for like 20 seconds or 30 seconds. And Gary Lund, the bass player that was playing on the session that day, he goes, "What's that?" I said, "Well, I think that's the glory cloud you've always heard about in the Bible." And so I'm looking out towards the audience. The audience is freaking out. Everybody's freaking out. I'm looking through this cloud. It's not smoke, because it looked like little particles of water or something. And it was like a mist, but it wasn't. It wasn't a smoke. And when it dissipated. It went like this, and just like disappeared, like in about 3 or 4 seconds.
Huh.
We had that on video, um, and it was just, But here's my take on it was, God started to come into the room, his manifest presence. And I believe that um, you might call heaven a parallel universe. I don't know,
Yeah.
whatever. I believe it broke through the veil for a second, and I believe that's when the atmosphere reacted to that power. The power of God came in, a cloud that I've never seen since, never saw before, heard about it, but I've never seen one like this. I've seen some things at other places, and I go, well, I don't know. That could be, just a light, burnt out or something, but this was real power of God,
Yeah.
come in. And it was done by music, God, it affected God to the point he couldn't do anything else but come into the room.
What about smell? Have you ever had those encounters where we've been in worship or been praising and you'll smell a sweet aroma, maybe flowers or honey? Have y'all had those encounters as well?
I've heard of other people. I've never had it. Um, I've, you know, like I said, my best times of worship are, on my
Mm-hmm.
own by myself on a rock in the woods somewhere.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And uh, I don't know, those special manifestations. I believe, I totally believe God does them. The problem, the thing is, one person may smell it and the other person may not smell it. It's
Mm-hmm.
because that person needed to smell that. Now this particular night when the cloud showed up, everybody saw it.
Yeah.
So there was no mistaking. And me and Don Potter mixed the song and put it on one of our CDs, the worship CD. And when the cloud showed up, we only had 24 tracks of I think it was ADAT or something like that tape. When all the VU meters, when that happened, the cloud showed up, all the VU meters, 24 of them go like this.
Oh yeah. Wow.
Up to the top. Now that's impossible, because there's certain mics with different EQs, different levels. All of them go like this, and you can hear it on the CD. You hear this rumbling kind of thing, like, I don't know, like Raiders of the Lost Ark or something. I mean, it was real. You could see it on the 24 tracks. We couldn't get it off. We couldn't figure out what it was. And so, yeah, I don't know if that answers your question.
No, that's awesome. Yeah. No, I remember that, man. Trust me, I do. And you can feel it's so weird how you're able to capture that stuff on CD, right? Or on the audio files. Just like, we would be, having our own prayer meetings at home, listening to y'all's music, and we'd listen to the crowd and listen to the shift in the spirit, and we'd be able to be almost transported there with you guys. Couple years after that was taped, right, or filmed, if we're watching it on video or whatever the case was, and we'll be able to experience that with you. That's the beautiful thing about it, is that there is no such thing as time, right? That we can, especially with God. He's the God who kind of, throws his sins as far as the east is to the west. And I understand that as being, he's able to go back in time and just erase it like it never happened. You know what I'm saying? That's what he's able to do. So it's so beautiful when we get to experience his glory and that way manifested in our lives or in a group effort. It's so beautiful. So let me ask you about this, because there's this understanding now. We've kind of been studying it and hearing some people talk about it a little bit, and I've just tried it in my own life. And maybe it goes back to just understanding the power of music and understanding what, being a psalmist is, or having that intention before you go into worship maybe. But people are having these encounters, like you're saying, you go into your own, personal prayer closet with the Lord. You have this ecstatic encounter. He shows up, he loves on you, and you say, you know what? I'm going to bring this encounter, now that I've experienced this, that when I do go into a corporate environment, I can tap into that place and bring you guys with me, because I've experienced that. Almost like stepping into a portal, a vortex, whatever you want to put cool names on it or whatever. Do you think that that's possible when you go into worship, and should you do that? If you enjoyed listening to this podcast segment, be sure to listen to the entire episode by clicking the video to your right. Also, we are on iTunes. You can download the MP3 versions as well. Be sure to subscribe for future episodes.